well. So, new development. Zevia has rebranded. I'm still on the Zevia thing. This is a new flavor I've never had before called Vanilla Cola. It's actually really good. It reminds me a lot of Vanilla Coke. If you're new here, I'm not sponsored by Zevia. This isn't a paid thing. Zevia is just like a soda alternative that's recommended by a lot of nutritionists. And I can tell the difference when I drink soda, when I drink Zevia. And I'm kind of hoping Zevia sponsors this channel. Zevia, if you see this, send me some more Vanilla Cola. It's really good. It's probably my favorite Zevia so far. Anyway, getting on with the topic of the video. So, if you watched my last video, I mentioned I got into Warhammer and been spending a lot of time building the miniatures. Oh, this little guy. Look at this little guy. Will it focus? Will it focus? Will it focus? How far back do I need to be for it to focus? Maybe that. Let me just zoom in. Don't focus on me. I'm not the. Okay, now focus on this guy. Yeah, look at that. Look at this little guy. It's fun. I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun building them. Although there is some frustration so far already as a new player. So I bought a starter kit. You know, it's like in the name, like start here. You know, like this is where you start. And these guys are orcs. And there's two things that were frustrating. The first is my friend gave me some Space Marines to get started, and they are something called push fit, so you don't actually need to glue them. They just have it's not quite like Lego, but it comes together sort of like Lego. Like, it's pretty easy, and you understand where things go, and there's no modifications. Like, what you see is what you get, and you just build it as per the instructions. Now, I don't know if that was also kind of a starter kit because it's from like a bigger box. But in my starter kit, there's two teams. There's orcs and the Astra Militarum, and it doesn't explain a lot of things. First of all, you have to actually glue these guys. They don't fit together without glue, which is fine. It just took a lot longer to assemble them. Also, there's more of them. There's 12 of these little orcs compared to the 7 Space Marines I put together. But there's alternative builds. So you could build this guy as like 2 or 3 different dudes, but it doesn't explain in the instructions why you'd want to build one over the other. You actually have to like do the research and be like, oh, if I had built this, that would have been terrible. Whereas like this guy's way better than if I had built, because you can build a lot of them as like a basic guy, which like this little basic guy, and he's fine, but he's like a basic guy. Or you could build him as like a sniper, and you're like, well, why wouldn't you want the sniper? Like, but it doesn't explain that. Like, the basic guys don't have special abilities, their weapons aren't as good, and it doesn't explain any of that. And you're like, as a new player, it's super frustrating that like, and the building is like the first phase. Like, you wouldn't think like, I'm gonna research which guys I should build. Like, you're just like, I'm gonna build it according to the instructions. And the instructions kind of make it seem like, oh, this guy could have one of 2 different weapons. Like, does it really matter? Like, it's an axe or it's a big claw thing. Like, the big claw thing looks cooler, so we'll go with that. Luckily, that one actually was better. But in the Astra Militarum, the leader guy has 2 options for swords, and one of them is a chain sword, which looks like a chainsaw sword, which is awesome, but it's not as good as the basic sword, which apparently is a power sword. And you're like, as a new player, how am I supposed to know this? Come on. So that's a little bit of frustration. But I've been having a lot of fun putting these things together. Haven't actually played a game just yet. But now that we have 2 functional teams, we can actually play a game of Kill Team. Although I'm finding out that the Space Marines are like not a legal team, and so I have to like play them as a different thing. So like, you just like pretend this is this, and but it's fine because it's just like, I'll probably play against myself a couple times, and then with my girlfriend a couple times. And like, I think if I can play with myself a couple times, understand the rules, and then play with her and be able to explain the rules to her, then I'll be able to go to a store and play a stranger with the knowledge the stranger knows, like, this is my first real game. Like, I did a couple practice runs, but like, let's see how this goes. And yeah, but I'm excited about it. It seems, a kill team seems kind of like my jam. I've done a little more thinking about it, and to put it in perspective, kill team is sort of like if you ever played like Final Fantasy Tactics or any sort of like tactical game. It's kind of like that, whereas like the big full 40k is kind of more like if you played like Civ, Civilization, where you like move the whole army each turn and then like the other team goes. So I really like that tactical element of the back and forth, and I'm kind of excited to see that on a tabletop, and also to play a tabletop game, because I've been looking for more ways to get out of the apartment and, like touch grass and, interact with other humans and not just be, digesting short form content and being on Reddit, because like that, I realize I'm like taking stock. It's something I've been doing, is like, how do I feel after doing an activity? And it's like, spending time on the internet almost always makes me feel crappy. Like, when I watch YouTube, like, I feel better, especially if I'm not if I'm watching shorts, like a ton of shorts. You watch a couple of shorts here and there, it's like, okay, it's good. And sometimes I get my algorithm is very geared towards like self-improvement and hockey stuff, and so it's like, okay, this is fine. Hi, Bear. Oh, Bear's been annoying me lately because he just decides that he gets to go to the bathroom in the apartment now. What? Oh, he might need to go out again. Which, it's like 2 in the morning, and it's like, wait, I took him out at midnight, but he just went to the bathroom in the apartment, and now he's barking at me like he needs to go out. So I'm probably gonna end this one here soon. Well, I'll just end it right now because he really wants to go out. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts about Warhammer. I'm excited about it, and yeah. So anyway, I hope you're doing well, and if not, I hope that turns around for you real soon. Drink Vanilla Zevia. # not sponsored. I'll see you next one. I'll see you next